Hey everybody, welcome to Drive-Thru Review 582. Today we're going to take a look at The Captain is Dead. Now this is a new game coming out from AEG just about now, and what this is a co-op game set on a spaceship. And let me just read a little blurb from the back of the box. It says, "You are in the last 10 minutes of your favorite sci-fi TV show, but this time things have gone so badly that the captain is dead." So players will take on various different roles and be moving and teleporting around the spaceship, trying to thwart off an alien incursion. The aliens will be boarding the ship, they'll be blasting the ship. Different systems will go up and down. Players will have to repair the comm systems, the teleporter, the torpedo tube, all that kind of stuff, and then make use of those stations to help them succeed and then win the game. Basically, the object of the game is to jump away into hyperspace and get away before they blow up the ship and all these bad things happen to you. So let's take a look at the mechanics and then I'll tell you what I think. Okay, here's everything that you can see that you're going to get in the game. First thing to notice, of course, is this main board. I just want to make a quick kind of comment about it. The game has a very, very distinctive look and feel to it. It's very vividly colored. It has these really cool kind of plastic or almost like acetate standees, so they're clear plastic and they have sort of this embedded picture there. You can see her there. So this will match a roll card, so the players will also get a roll card. And you can see these come in different colors as well as the different colors of the different standees that match. So you have kind of like different types of rolls that you want. And the rules say to kind of pick from a variety. So you don't want 2 yellows and maybe 3 blues or something, although you could play that way. These are going to give you a more variety and kind of a diverse kind of approach to the game. So the thing to notice about these cards while we're talking about it is on the player's turn they're going to get a certain number of actions. This is the number of actions that you get here. So the soldier will get 4 actions. They'll have a special ability here. And there is a ranking, and the players will always operate in this order. And the rules even say to sit down maybe in this order, so everybody will be maybe going clockwise around the table in the right order. And then you have a hand size, and you can see these little mini cards up here, which I'll show you in a minute. That's the hand of those cards, as well as some equipment cards that you can get. And again, the special ability. And now these icons here, you can see they're different for the different characters. These are kind of like built-in cards. So the cards are sort of just color-coded here. So you've got tactical red cards, commands, blue cards, and so on. Engineering and the orange cards. So this is effectively like you always have one of these cards. And you'll be moving around taking actions and spending these different colored cards to repair and use different stations. So these effectively have already one of those cards. And then you will have a figure, and you'll start them out here on the color space. So the yellow soldier will go on the yellow armory and they'll start in that same colored space. And then you're going to go through this alert deck. And to start the game, you're going to deal out 5 of these and just kind of put them in effect. So for example, this one says, external scanners are offline, discard all face-up alerts. All players on the bridge, which is up here in this red area, will be injured. I'll explain that in a minute. But you can override these during the game by playing, in this case, 3 command cards. That's usually what it takes to override these. The command cards are very good for kind of overriding these as they come up. But you'll deal out some of these to start the game, and certain things are going to be offline. So for example, if these external scanners go offline, then you're going to flip it over and you'll have to be able to repair it, which in this case will cost an action and then 2 red cards. And then if it's online, you can see you're going to reveal the top 2 alerts will be face up, so you can kind of see what's coming. And this is a very important thing while I'm talking about it, is it's very, very good to see it coming, because you don't know, hey, do I need to hold maybe the blue cards to counteract that, or we can let that go and then deal with it later. And then as these come and get played, they're going to get discarded over to here. And so you're going to do some of those to start the game, and then you're going to just start playing. And so a player on their turn will take actions. They'll get this number of actions. And on the back of all these cards, let's say you got the soldier, you can turn over the other yellow card, and you've got here a little player aid. So you can see a few things that you can do. You can move up to 2 spaces, or kill a hostile alien in your location. And certain actions will put these guys here out onto certain spots on the board. So for an action, you can just remove one from the board. And then working down here, let's see, you can carry another player 1 space, you can give a skill to another player at your location, or you can take a skill or tool card from another player at your location. So that's kind of your main actions. And then if you're in a specific location, you can do actions, like I said, use the scanner, use the teleporter, and you just have to be in that room. Now if you did notice here, there were 2 actions here with this little heart symbol, and there's some actions on the board that have the heart symbol as well. If we take a look here at the trauma section here, you can see that's got the heart symbol. What that means is that you can use it while you're injured. Now while you're injured, you can only do a couple of things. One is move 2 spaces, or kill a hostile alien if they're in the same spot, or you want to try to make your way back down to here, and then you can use an action, and then you can heal and stand up. And then that will allow you to take other actions, and specifically the actions here on the board. So everybody's going to do their actions, and then after every single player's turn, we're going to reveal or play the face-up alert card and do what it says. Now, the way that you win the game is by jumping in and flying away, and I'll explain that in a minute. The other way that you're going to lose is if you start to get down here to the red deck, some of these are just going to straight up kill you, although it's theoretically possible that you can get all the way through here. If you get all the way through that, then you will lose the game if you haven't jumped away by then. Although I will say that my group decided that if you do actually make it through that deck and live, you should actually win because it's impossible, which I won't argue too much with. The other thing is if you have to put aliens on the board, there comes with 12 of these in the game, and if you have to put one on the board and you don't have any, then you lose the game. And the final way that you lose the game is if the shield marker here goes all the way down to 0 and then you take more damage, then it will be game over. Now there is ways to repair the shield. As you can see, you can go here and take 2 actions and spend 2 red cards, and then you'll bump the shield up. There will be alien ships that will come out, and here you can see an example. These are just different alert cards, and you can see it's a ship. And this says whenever the shields take damage, increase the damage by additional 10%. So these will live out here, and you'll have to fire torpedoes and blow those up, and then maybe on a later turn you get this card here, reduce shields by 10%, blah, blah, blah. But then it would be an additional 10%, and even worse, as we get further through the deck, the damage is going to exponentially increase there. Now to win the game, you want to get folks here in the engineering room, and you have this jump track here. So you can start off a normal or coward or hardcore or insane. I've only ever played it on normal. And when you go here, you spend 2 actions and 5 of these engineering cards, the orange cards, and you'll go ahead and bump that up like that. And so basically you get it all the way to here. Once you get it to engage, then you've won. You've jumped away, you've escaped the aliens. So that's how you win the game. Now it is worth noting that there are fewer of these engineering cards, so you do want to actually force yourself through the skill deck. But that's basically the game. You just move around, do different actions. Let's take a look at a couple of the other actions here, and so I can talk a little bit more specifics. So up here in the right hand corner, you can see this is where you get access to the skill cards, and those draw a line here down to the central core, to the CPU there. And you can basically do one of 2 actions here. You can just draw a skill off the top, or you can draw and replenish here a face-up skill, and you're always going to replenish this to 3 skills. But let's say this gets damaged here, we'll turn that over. So all of these will be discarded. You can no longer take that action until you take an action here to repair that, in which case you'll flip it over, and then you'll deal out 3 more. Now it is possible to just fully, in this case, actually, this is just when it goes offline. Then it gets fully damaged, and you to actually rebuild it, it's going to cost you a whole lot more stuff. And I'll just say, these 2 spots here, you want to keep repaired because, again, you need the skill cards to actually do the repairs. And if you don't have access to them, then it's a problem. And so similar here, this type of thing here, it's going to be very, very hard to fully repair that. Now if you go here to the cargo hold, you can get access to these different equipments here, and you can just look through these. And these are basically little 2 skill or 2 turn abilities. You can see tool A as a free action, kill a hostile alien, and then you flip it to B, and then it says as a free action, kill a hostile alien, and then remove from the game. So these are just some other little special abilities that you can grab. You should grab these very early in the game because it's not going to be worth it to get it later on in the game. Now here we've talked already about the jump place. Now let's talk about the teleporter here. And this is an interesting thing because to start, you can use it if you're injured. You can see that. You can use this from any other room in the game. So you don't actually have to be in the room because it has that symbol there. And then you can actually teleport any player, may be used from any location. So that's very, very handy, especially early in the game before it gets destroyed, to move around quickly and get where you need to be. We talked about the trauma station here. We can go here to the security station to kill an alien in any location. You don't have to be in the same location. So you can have somebody kind of camp some of these different spots early on in the game because it's easier to teleport people and trade cards and kind of effectively work on one part of the game. Now, one cool thing you can do is actually do upgrades, or you can research these anomalies. So sometimes you can get these alert cards here that you're going to put down here, and these are anomalies. These are going to be very annoying, and you can come down here and you can see you can research the anomaly for an action, and then for the green science cards. This one, for example, is move 1 space for 1 action instead of 2 spaces. So you're going to get several of these coming out, but you can also go over here and research upgrades. So there'll be the stack of these upgrades here, and these are going to cost varying levels of science and an action here. And then you can have up here 2 installed upgrades. Again, these are good to do earlier in the game. It says reduce any new damage to the shields by 10%, so that's very useful. And this once researched auto surgeon replaces the trauma station over here, and players in the infirmary may heal as a free action, so it no longer costs you an action to heal yourself. So there's a few of these that you can go and plug in and install. Over here we have the torpedo tube. So the first thing to know is you start with 5 of these installed, and you can go down here and manufacture new ones. And as you go up here and spend these to shoot these here, you can see you spend a blue or red, and you choose one. You either do not draw an alert this turn, or you can blow up a ship that might be floating out here and trying to do damage to you. So when you do that, you'll spend one of the torpedoes, and then if you're out of torpedoes though, you got to make sure that you manufacture them. And the last place I want to talk about here is the battle plan space. And the rules mention that you should definitely make use of this space, and I will vouch for that. These battle plans are very, very effective. Some of the character roles will make use of this deck a little bit, and they'll make use of the other decks more effectively. But basically what these are just really great special abilities that you can do here. So this one says, anytime remove up to 3 hostile aliens from any location, anywhere on the ship, this card after has been used. And it's just a ton of these really, really good and effective special abilities. Once you go through this deck, and it's somewhat possible to go through them all, then you're out of them. But definitely you want to make use of these to just really supercharge actions that you can do that are a lot better than what you can normally do. But that's the game. You move around, kill aliens, fix stuff, use stuff, blow up alien ships, try to repair each other, use your special abilities, and definitely try to make good use of these, the skill deck. And there are some ways that you can kind of force it to sort of recycle through and do that, because then remember I said there's not that many engineering cards, and those are the ones that you need to make the jump. So kind of managing this deck is a big part to winning the game. Okay, so that is The Captain is Dead. And what do I think of it? Well, this one actually kind of took me by surprise. And I gotta be honest, the thing that really sort of intrigued me about the game initially was the art style. I don't know what you call this art style, but it's very stark. There's a lot of contrast. The colors are very vivid. I really like these little acetate-y looking plastic things here for the player pawns. Those look really cool. It's kind of like a stylized, it's not really cartoony though. I mean, maybe it has like kind of a 90s feel to it. I'm not really sure how to describe the art, but anyway, that got me sucked into looking at the game, and I looked at it, and it's like, you know, it's the last 10 minutes of an action movie, of a sci-fi movie, the captain is dead, and you've got to fix everything. I'm like, okay, that sounds fun. Kind of reminds me of Space Cadets or something like that. So we played it a couple times, and won it both times on normal, and I haven't tried it on anything higher than that. It was close, I will say. We got down into we never got to the red deck, but we did look through some of the red alert cards, and it's like, there's no way you would win the game if you ever got to this card. Just because the problems just keep compounding and compounding and getting worse. You know, when a ship shows up the first time, you're like, that's not that big a deal. And then, you know, midway towards the end of the game, you're like, okay, that is gonna wreck us. We have to do something about that. So the problems really escalate. And then of course, certain systems are offline. You got to go repair that. You're like, I don't want to waste time repairing this. I want to get these cards and collect this so we can do another jump and all that kind of good stuff. So at least on normal, it's definitely beatable. I mean, we never played it, and I played it twice now, and it was beatable. It does play up to 7 players, which I have not tried, but I think you want to, I think it will scale actually to 7. I played it 3 and 4. It does say, I think 2 to 4, 2 to 7, something like that. But if you're playing with less than 3, it really suggests that you want to have 3 characters in play. So you could solo it with 3 characters and you would be okay. And I think it's going to scale though, because it's like take a turn, do an alert, take a turn, do an alert. So the action, efficiency coefficient or whatever, it's going to stay the same. The number of actions versus the number of bad things that happen is going to be relatively the same. It's just that with more players, you're going to have more variety in terms of what people can do. Because you're locked into maybe the soldier and then the commander and all that stuff. You've only got maybe 3, 4 to choose from. Whereas if you have a little bit more of a plurality of certain types of characters, you're going to have a little bit more efficient. So it might just be a little easier, I think, with more players, but I'm not sure. But it's really fun. It takes about an hour once you get the hang of it. It's like, let's do this, go, play these cards, activate the alert, okay, resolve that real quickly, and just move around the table and keep going. So it's hard to say because it's not like super anything new. I mean, it kind of feels like Pandemic or lots of co-ops, but I think it does what it does effectively. The theme is cool. I like kind of the multi-staging of things because you have it kind of falls back to the Pandemic thing where you have like, okay, now it's like this and now it's like this, but it's even worse. But I think that's a little bit more prevalent here because you'll have a station that you can use, and that makes things super easy, especially at the beginning. You're like trading skill cards and teleporting and doing all this stuff super easily, and then you can tell that this alert deck is very much staged to take that away from you. And so now you're having to move around a little bit more. You're having to really plan out your actions. And so the kind of the story arc of that really escalates nicely. And you might have, so okay, this thing is online, now it's offline, now it's completely destroyed. So all of that kind of stuff really fits together. And a very, very simple core though. You're in a spot, you do the action on that spot, and you play these different colored cards that you're trying to amass, and you're trading cards, similar to like Pandemic and stuff. So it just really, really fits. It has a sort of a castle defense type of vibe. I mean, most co-ops kind of tend to sit in that vein. It's a tower defense or castle defense type of game where you're just managing bad stuff that's coming at you down these lanes in a sense. So it has that. So to me, it kind of sits a little bit more difficult than the Castle Panic or Dead Panic and all those kind of games. So I think for a family type of situation, those have always seemed to me very good co-op games to play. This would be kind of maybe a next step above that in terms of the complexity, and I think it's definitely probably a little bit more difficult than those sides. But to me, it has the right amount of difficulty, and it's super easy to adjust the difficulty. And I think there's some variance and stuff too to do that, or you can not optimally choose your characters as well to increase the difficulty. So it's going to be very sort of flexible in that way. But at the end of the day, really just the execution on the theme and the artwork and everything really kind of elevates it to me to the point I'm like, hey, yeah, I can recommend this game. So I would definitely take a look at this if you're looking for kind of another kind of mid-weight, lightweight type of co-op that should play up to a decent amount of players. So I would definitely give this one a look. Thanks.